Okay, guys. Yeah, we want to talk about. What was it?
You don't know either. You're very well prepared today.
Money will get you freedom, but it's not going to guarantee you the women that you want. It's not going to guarantee you the kind of quality of women that you want in your life. So a lot of guys, are kind of conditioned to think that, and slightly brainwashed to think that if they just chase money all the time, which is obviously you need money, obviously you want to have freedom to travel, but you should do it for yourself. You shouldn't be doing it to get validation from women. So a lot of guys I've seen, they're overcompensating, thinking when I get to this bank balance, the women are just going to come to me, they're going to flock to me suddenly, and they think when I get more money I'm just going to get high quality chicks. A lot of guys are thinking that, when they get this amount of money, that they're just going to suddenly come to them and they're going to get all the high quality. What do you think about, you've seen this with guys, right, this pattern?
Yeah, like sometimes, there's this kind of like false assumption that you just get rich and girls will come to you. I don't think it's as simple as that. And if it is, then it's probably going to be the wrong types of girls. The girls that are just solely focused on money are probably going to be the wrong types of girls. And you're not going to necessarily have that genuine connection with them, which is part of it. In my opinion, it's part. I mean, if you're okay with that, that's fine. If you're just after just getting laid, just getting sex, then you might as well just get a prostitute, And if you are,
that's like a
and if you've got a lot of money to spend, you can get some very attractive prostitutes. But again, it's very transactional. It doesn't feel great. It certainly doesn't feel great on an emotional.
It feels like they're not into you genuinely for you.
Yeah, it's just not a great vibe, in my opinion.
It's better to get women, like, for example, even if you're broke or rich, who cares? But the thing is, why are some women going with broke guys? It's because they can stimulate their emotions. So it's not just about what you're like. If you do have money, let her find out maybe later, but don't try and lead with that.
Certainly, it can help because
lifestyle,
it can help lifestyle wise, but a lot of the time it's really about meeting her expectations in terms of lifestyle, and oftentimes you don't need to be a multi-millionaire to do that.
No.
So if she's expecting you to be a multi-millionaire, you have to ask the question, is she the right kind of girl, really? If you are, again, like what you said, if you are earning a lot of money, then great, that should be for yourself, or for your own goals or whatever it is that you want, not to impress girls, because you're gonna be in for a shock, when you realise that actually, you actually do need social skills and all the other stuff we talk about on top of that. It's not enough really by itself. As anything is, if you're a male model, that is in itself is not going to be enough by itself.
That's a good start, but
it's a great start and it's certainly going to help, but it's not enough just by itself. You need other stuff. You can't just rely, purely on looks, because you could just open a girl and you're completely boring, and then you've got nothing else, just good looking, and that's it. And a lot of the time now, especially in countries like the UK and most of Europe, the women now are earning their own money. They don't actually give that much of a shit about how much you earn.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they're making their own money now and they're doing their own shopping. It's a bit of an antiquated notion of this whole of
I need to be the breadwinner.
Yeah, exactly. The man having to look after you. In some countries, that there
still
is still
seems true though in Eastern Europe. I felt.
I mean, there is still certainly a bit of that traditionalism in certain countries. When you go to places like in Eastern Europe, like in Ukraine perhaps, or in Latin America as well, that can actually be the case sometimes. But really, even when you go there, the fact that you're a foreign guy, they might associate you with being perhaps richer than the average guy anyway, and that might just build more attraction anyway. You don't necessarily need to be a fucking millionaire to actually to get the hot girls over there.
Exactly.
It can help, but then again, it's like I said before, you don't want the relationship to feel transactional. You don't want it to feel void of that emotional connection or that spiritual connection that you have with a girl, which is very important in my opinion. Maybe if you're not so concerned about that, that's fine. But again, again, you know,
There's two types of sex though. I mean, this is a bit, I mean, I don't know, maybe you guys haven't heard it. There's validational and transactional. Transactional is more like a business thing. It's like, oh, I'm, kind of like a prostitute. It's not great, if you want to do that, that's fine, but that means she's not genuinely into you for you, And then the validational is like, you could be a guy who's broke or whatever. You don't show you how much money you have, but she just genuinely likes you for you. She's really attracted to your vibe, and then maybe later on she finds out you have money. So ask yourself, what kind of sex do you want to have? Have you seen a lot of guys overcompensating with this stuff?
I guess so. I mean, you see it sometimes where like guys might flaunt their wealth in the hopes that they're gonna get female attention. Sometimes it can be the guy revving his engine on his car down the high street, but it rarely really actually draws attention from girls. And if it does draw attention from a girl, then you have to. It comes into question, is that the right girl for you? Really, in my opinion, it certainly wouldn't be. I've had it myself, even when I was in Mexico. Like, there was a couple of times where, like, the girls, there was just like this transactional vibe with the girl, and the girl was. I've had it like extreme cases where the girl literally demanded me to like buy her shit and like buy her a meal and stuff, and I literally just walked out on her because it's just the wrong vibe. And I've had it again where like it's a bit more subtle. The girl's kind of like expecting me to buy her a bunch of shit or like,
the caveat to that though is like, I mean, it depends on how quickly you get laid. I know it sounds, but if you meet a girl and you sleep with her quite quickly, then that means she probably views you as the lover type. But if she's making you wait loads of dates and making you pay for dinners, I wouldn't do it. But for me, I think certain girls, this is what we talked about, money is important a bit because, as Ed said, they expect a certain lifestyle. If you can provide that, for example, say you sleep with a girl, she wants to go to a nice restaurant, and you've already slept with her. I don't have a problem paying for her meal if I've already dating her. But if I haven't slept with her and she's demanding all these meals and like you pay for the bills, like massive things, I don't want to do it. But if she's already slept with you, I don't really have a problem.
Yeah, actually, there was one girl actually in Ukraine. Basically, I was speaking to her on WhatsApp, and before we had actually been on even the first date, she was like, "Oh yeah, I want you to." I was like, "Oh, she said, "Oh, let's meet in this place," and that's already for me a bit suspicious when a girl's telling me where we should meet. So I'm like. Yeah, we can meet in that general area, but we're not going to the place that you want to go to. We're going to a place that I want to go, because obviously as a guy you're the one that needs to lead it and everything. So I say, yeah, we can go to this place and we'll go for a drink. And then all of a sudden she was like, no, I'm hungry, I want to eat. And I'm like, and then I just said to her straight up, look, I don't buy girls food. I don't go for meals on the first date. And I said that to her. Well, yeah, I just said that straight up to her. I don't get meals for girls on the first date. I just said that to her straight away. Because she was very blunt as well. So but then after that she was like bye-bye, and that was it. But it's a good way to filter them out as well. Set your boundaries, set your standards, and be okay with losing girls as well. Because it's just better and not to waste your time that way.
Would you buy girls a meal if they're dating you a while? You wouldn't have a problem?
Yeah, that's okay, that's fine, that's fine.
If they've already slept with you, you're dating them, I don't think there's a problem.
No, it's totally fine. And sometimes, even doing it on a date is fine if you also genuinely want to eat. If you genuinely want to eat a meal and go out for a meal, it's okay to invite a girl to come along as well. Personally, I wouldn't do that on the first date for sure. Because
not the first
I don't know that girl well enough. I don't know that girl well enough to actually know if I want to invest that much time and money on her yet. So, and that's the thing. Like, even I go on first dates and stuff with a girl, and it goes, and I don't see her again because I don't want to see her again, and that's okay. It's not always about the girl turning you down. It's okay for you to turn the girl down as well.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I would say it depends on the country you're in, because I dated a girl from Eastern Europe and she expects me to pay, like, but I've already, I'm already dating her, so it's like a bit different. But I think it depends on the country you're in. Like, they have different expectations of men, so maybe here they're a bit more feminist and stuff like that. So yeah, obviously they have their own money, but in Eastern Europe you have to be a bit more like masculine and all that. So yeah.
Well, over there it's more common for the guy just to pay for everything, and that's just a rule.
That's just how it is.
Cultural rule, how it is really over there. You just have to be okay with that. You just have to expect to pay for everything. And
just get your income up.
Yeah, and just be careful not to get finessed in places like Ukraine and Latin America. It is only really a minority of girls who try to finesse you and try to get you to get them free meals and stuff. But just be careful about that. But it's normally quite obvious, and it's just a bit of common sense you need.
Yeah.
Like if you only met the girl once or twice and she's demanding you to buy her shit, that's a massive red flag for obvious reasons.
Yeah, I mean, if she's already sleeping with you, I think it's okay, but yeah, you don't want to buy all this stuff for her unless you're actually dating her. Don't do it straight away.
Yeah. Because I know like a lot of guys, when they're not so experienced in this, they think it's just standard practice to, you invite a girl out on a date, on a first date, you go for a meal, you invite her for dinner or something.
Yeah, that's a big mistake.
But yeah, I would not recommend that. It's not cost effective, and also, how do you know if you like the girl? Why are you investing so much of your time and money on that?
It's also not very sexual. You're sort of staring across the table, stuck in rapport, watching each other eat.
Vibe, yeah.
And I've done it mistake before, and it's like you just end up losing the sexual tension. Better to just get a drink and then go for a dinner with her. Once you've already slept with her, don't do it immediately because
you don't necessarily have to do it after you've slept with her. You can do it before if you want to, but again, it should be something that you genuinely want to do. Like you genuinely want to go for a meal, and you like this person as well. You don't necessarily have to have slept with her, but I just wouldn't recommend doing it if you haven't actually properly met on a date before. That's the only thing.
Exactly. I mean, it depends on the country. In Asia, they definitely eat out a lot. That's just part of their culture. But in the UK, I would say just go for drinks. Because to be honest, the women here, if you start doing expensive dinner dates, they lose respect for you. But in Asia, it's just part of the culture, and it's not like they're going to judge you for it because they eat out constantly anyway. But here, if you start doing all these sort of like dinner dates, the girl's going to put you in the chode frame too quickly. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend it here until later on. But that's just about where you're based, the culture, which country you're in. Every country has their own nuances and dating stuff. So yeah.
Cheers for watching. If you'd be interested in one-to-one coaching with me, where we'll go out in public and work on you approaching girls, or more generally with your social confidence, please visit my website ed-game.com.